Hello, everyone. This is All Star Hoop Talk with Shane
and Ethan, because every team needs an all-star.
All right, so we're coming back at you today because the NBA playoffs first round just finished today. So Game 7 of the Cavs versus Magic game ended just earlier with the Cavs advancing on to face the Celtics in the second round. And looking back at my notes, Ethan, you predicted the Cavaliers would win, and you also predicted that it would be a good series to watch because it would go to Game 7, correct?
Yep.
What made you think that it would go to Game 7?
Well, that was when it was tied. Well, when they were leading 3-2? Yeah, when they were leading 3-2. And I don't know. I just thought the Magic would win one game because they were home. And I think the fan energy might have pumped them to a win there in Orlando. But the Cavaliers finished it off at home.
So now this is the first time the Cavs have won a playoff series since 2016 when they last had LeBron. What do you think of that?
I think that it just says a lot about the team, how they've gotten better since LeBron left, and they were trying to rebuild, and now they've done it.
And do you think Mitchell is really going to be that factor for them in their rebuilding and possibly even bringing a championship to Cleveland again?
Yeah, I think he can do that. However, he did say that if he didn't, I think, make it to the conference finals, he would want to get traded.
That's right. I think I did remember seeing that. So I don't know who he'd want to be traded to because he just got traded to the Cavs, 2 seasons ago? This is his second or third season there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now we've already done, since our last podcast, we did our predictions or your predictions for the second round, but we didn't have all the teams set at that time. So you had picked the Timberwolves to advance from beating the Nuggets. And since the last time that we talked with everybody, what happened in that series?
They won and took a 1-0 lead. They haven't won the series yet, but they won a game.
Is that pretty impressive?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, they're a lower seed, and the Nuggets are the defending champions. But like I said last time, they swept the Suns, and to me, the Suns are a harder team to beat rather than the Lakers.
And the fact that the Timberwolves went into Denver and got their first win of the series in Denver, do you think that really sets the tone for this series?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So that's one to watch. So you already picked the Timberwolves. And the other one you picked was the Pacers versus the Knicks. And so we haven't seen that series kick off. That one will kick off tomorrow. But now we need to get your predictions for the Thunder versus Mavericks because that series hasn't started yet. And we haven't talked about things since our last podcast because that series wasn't set yet. So tell us about that series.
I think the Thunder will win it in 6 to 7 games.
Thunder in 6 to 7 games. Okay, and why?
Well, the Mavericks, they're a really hard team to beat. I think the Thunder, they might have given the Clippers about 2 games, which is what the Mavericks did. And the Mavericks, they've been playing really good in the postseason. And the Thunder, they might be too overconfident. But I think in the long run, the Thunder will still get the win.
So they're going to overall win the series
and
advance to the conference finals and face the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the other series that we need to talk about, now that it's set, is the Celtics versus Cavs. Who do you think is going to win that one?
The Celtics in 6.
Celtics in 6. What about Mitchell's promise to make it to the conference finals or get traded?
I just think the Celtics are too great of a team this year because the difference between the Knicks and the Celtics were like 10 games better than them, which means that Cavaliers, they're a lot worse than the Celtics. They're still pretty good, but the Celtics are much better, and I definitely think they're going to make it to the conference finals.
Who do you think is going to be the main player, the main factor for the Celtics to get past Mitchell?
Jason Tatum.
He was doing some phenomenal things when they played the Heat, so maybe he's going to step up his game again for the second round?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got moving on to the conference finals. These are your predictions. You've got the Thunder beating the Mavericks in 6 to 7 games, facing off against the Timberwolves. And then you've got the Celtics advancing, getting past the Cavs in 6 games, and then the Pacers advancing past the Knicks. That's who you say is going to be in the conference finals, right?
Yep.
And I don't have my notes. I'm pretty sure I'd seen it before, but didn't you tell us before who you thought would make it all the way to the finals, or did we not do that prediction yet?
We did, but I might change them. I don't think I picked the Thunder and Celtics. Celtics, I think, will definitely make it to the finals. Not so sure about the Thunder because they'll have to go against the Timberwolves or Nuggets if they even make it to the conference finals. So we'll see, but I definitely think the Celtics will make it.
Okay. Now that you said that, I do remember you saying it was the Thunder versus the Celtics in the finals. That's right. So we'll have to keep an eye on. Both of those teams are still in it, and so they could make it to the finals. They just got to advance past the second round and get to the conference finals to do so. So not a complete hard task to do, but they will have to make sure that they, stay healthy. All their best players are stepping up and everything like that. So, okay. So tomorrow night we've got 2 more games in the NBA's playoffs. So that's going to kind of start shaping up this second round. So tomorrow we're going to get that first game of the Pacers versus the Knicks, and they'll be starting off there in New York. And then you're going to have game 2 of Minnesota and Denver at Denver. Do you think the Joker and the rest of the Nuggets are going to be just irritated and upset that they lost at home their first game and they're going to come out for blood and want to even up the series?
Yeah, I think the fact that the Minnesota Timberwolves, they only won by 6 points, which isn't too much, and the fact that Denver is at home, I think Denver will win game 2.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When they're at home, they've got the altitude, they've got the home court advantage, they've got all of that, but yet they just couldn't pull off that game 1 victory. So we'll see if Minnesota continues with that fire, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll continue to follow the NBA playoffs as they move into the semi-conference round, and make sure that you're doing your predictions because you're doing pretty good so far. So we'll see how things play out. But now that the NBA basketball is almost over, we still got about a month left of it, and the season isn't completely done. The regular season is, but the playoffs is very entertaining. But we got the WNBA getting started, right?
Yeah.
Tell us what's going on over there.
Well, right now they're in preseason, which started May 3rd, but the actual WNBA regular season will start May 14th. So if you just want to see who will come out on top in the preseason to maybe have a higher advantage in the regular season, then you might want to start watching now.
Okay. And do you know who won the championship last year in the WNBA?
No.
I don't recall either. Maybe we should have looked that up before we started talking about the WNBA so we would know a little bit more about it. We'll get back to them on that one. But when does the regular season for the WNBA start?
Like I said, May 14th.
Oh, did you already say that?
Yeah.
I thought you were still talking about the preseason had started. Okay. And so one of the main players that I'm sure a lot of people are watching, because she kind of reminds me of just watching Stephen Curry shoot up the long ball. What do you think of Caitlin Clark?
I think that she's a phenomenal player, and she will make a really good career in the WNBA for the Indiana Fever, and I don't think she'll get traded for a long time, if she even gets traded.
Wow. Okay. And she went to college in Iowa, and so Indiana's not too far. It's still in the Midwest. Do you think she is going to want to stay in the Midwest and kind of stay established there, and that's why she wouldn't want to be traded?
Yeah, and I think she'll definitely like that part, but even if she can get them to the championship, she probably won't want to move, and the FIFA won't want her to move either, so I think she probably will stay for a long time.
And now I saw in her debut, she did a lot of good stats. She scored, I should have written this down. She scored, I think, like 26, 29 points.
It was 29.
29, thank you. And she, just her opening NBA game, WNBA game, she was just on fire. You know, she was just continuing what she had done on the college level to the WNBA level. Do you think she's going to be able to hold up with that sort of energy and stamina throughout the whole WNBA season? Because it's going to be longer than a college season.
Well, yeah, that's true. And she's going up against better people. And the preseason, it's not really, you're not really going up against the better people. And even if you are, they're not going to get, the better people won't get too many minutes. So she might not be prepared for the regular season, but once she gets adjusted, she might eventually go back to getting those 29 points or more.
Now, they said, I was reading an article that she did have to, get taken out of the game to get some rest a little earlier than normal than she would in college. And I believe it was her coach was saying that could be just more of the physicality of the WNBA compared to college and everything. So do you think during the preseason time, it is a short period, but do you think during that time that'll give her enough, updates and looks and, feel for the WNBA to adjust well enough for when the regular season comes to make that push throughout the long season?
It might, but I'm not completely sure.
Do you think she'll be as great of a player her first year in the WNBA as she was just dominating the college world?
Not necessarily. I think she'll be slightly worse. She might get to that level in maybe her second or third season, but I think in the first season she's just going to get adjusted to everything. She might come close to being at the level that she was in college, but I don't think she'll be there this year.
And so when she gets to her second or third year, do you think she'll be more dominant than she was in her college years?
Yeah, I think so.
I think she's going to be a fun player to watch, and I hope that last year Stephen Curry did a 3-point competition during the All-Star game. Do you remember that? Or that was this year. It was this year. And I would hope that he would do the same with Caitlin Clark. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, that he would do with Caitlin Clark. I think that would be pretty exciting because even for people who don't watch the WNBA, kind of like me, you still know about Caitlin Clark, and I think it'll be really fun to watch the 3-point contest.
I think so too. I think she is going to dynamically change basketball and the WNBA and just overall the sport as a whole. Don't you think?
Yeah.
And I think Stephen Curry is a phenomenal 3-point shooter, and she is just kind of adapted his kind of style of just being completely off balance, throwing up the craziest looking shot, and you're like, there's no form to that, there's no nothing, it looks ugly. Next thing you know, it just swishes right through, and you're like, I'll take all of that back. It wasn't a great shot, right?
Yeah.
She kind of does that. She kind of will just kind of step up and just shoots up a long ball. It just very reminiscent of the way Curry does things. He'll be in a pickle and he just throws it up, and you're like, was that desperation or what? But then it goes in and you're like, okay, he knew what he was doing. And she has that same kind of presence and demeanor about her out there. Do you think that that's going to force other WNBA teams to really rethink how they're going to guard her, because she's such a powerful weapon behind the 3-point line?
Yeah, they might try double teaming her or just guarding or full court pressing the whole entire team to make sure that she doesn't really get the ball. But yeah, I think a lot of teams might change the way they do defense on her.
Yeah, kind of like teams in the NBA had to adjust to Stephen Curry's style and everything.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, that is all we've got today. Was there anything else that we needed to talk about today, Ethan?
No.
Okay, so as the NBA season kind of continues to make it through the playoffs and kind of starts to wind down, we'll still have the WNBA season getting ready to ramp up, and we'll be able to watch that and see how phenomenal Caitlin Clark makes her debut season and everything. So, and there's some others out there. There's the one girl, I don't remember her name. I can see her face. She was from LSU that got drafted this year, and another one that was on the championship team, and I can't even remember who that one was for the college now. But those three, I think, will be fun to watch this year in the WNBA. But we've got plenty of basketball to talk about, and the conference semifinals are just getting started. So we're going to continue to watch that and see if your predictions are right, and see how the NBA season wraps up. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a plan.
Okay. Well, that is all we have for today, people, with All-Star Hoop Talk. So like us, follow us, and download us wherever you can get your podcasts at.